What's going on, everybody? It's Sean, joined again today by my beautiful wife Gina as we look at Queen's Jazz album. If it's your first time stopping by, I want to thank you so much for checking us out. Here at Reactions to the Classics, we look at some of the most classic albums of all time in a track-by-track format. Also do some live streams, some live reviews, as well as some rankings. So if that sounds like something for you, please hit that big red subscribe button. Also check out our links to our Facebook group and our Patreon, where you can support us for as little as $2 a month. All that to say, Gina, let's get into the quick facts. This is the 7th studio album by Queen, released in November of 1978. It went to number 6 in the US, number 2 in the UK, and it sold over 5 million albums worldwide. The initial reviews were mixed for this album. The title Jazz could refer to something more interesting, lively, or exciting. It was recorded outside of England for the first time with producer Roy Thomas Baker. The band was wanting to get more of a European sound, so they recorded this in France.
Another reason they might have recorded it outside of the UK is because of the high income taxes. And they reference that in their song, If You Can't Beat 'Em.
And tell us about the album cover, Gina.
The album cover, upon looking at it initially, just looks like a vinyl record. But if you look along the bottom, there's silhouettes of fat bottom girls riding bicycles, which is referenced throughout the whole album. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That is a cool thing to point out. Let's get into this thing. We got 13 songs. First song, Mustafa.
So this one was written by Mercury. The lyrics consist of English, Arabic, Persian, and possibly a number of invented words. Some understandable words are Mustafa, Ibrahim, and the phrases Allah, Allah, Allah will pray for you. And this one is kind of tough to sing along to because of those weird phrases that I have no idea what they mean.
No, and I don't think he did either. I think what they did on the song that Queen always does, the instrumentation comes in and is rocking. So almost with Queen's instrumentation, you can sing anything to it, and it's going to sound halfway decent. I'm not exactly a fan of the meaning of the lyrics. I think it's a nice hard rocker. Very interesting to start the album this way, but since they want to put forth a different sound, this is a different sound, so I guess they accomplished it there. That's going to bring us to one of the best-known songs in their whole catalog, Fat Bottom Girls. It was written by May, vocals Mercury with May. The single went to 11 in the UK, 24 in the US. Near the end of it, the song references Bicycle Race, our 4th track, with Mercury shouting, "Get on your bikes and ride." Then Bicycle Race reciprocates with the lyric, "Fat Bottom Girls, they'll be riding away." The two songs were released as double A-sided singles, which was interesting to me because they are so famous that they were released at the same time. For me, this song is a standout on here. I know it's one of their most famous songs. I only ever heard it a couple times. Their harmonies at the very beginning of this song are next level. Just a tremendous track.
This is probably my favorite song on the whole album, I would say. In researching the lyrics, though, there is an idea that that it refers to sexual molestation.
Yeah,
that made me a little bit uncomfortable.
Me too.
Because I like it so much, I don't want to like a song that is about that. But then a lot of other people just kind of say he's just an impressionable young lad and he is just fantasizing about this nanny of his. I don't know about the naughty nanny part. I would like to just think that maybe he has his own thoughts and she's not touched him, done nothing to him.
I'm going to go with you, and we're going to say that this is just a nice, innocent, maybe adolescent hormones raging song. Yeah, exactly. That's going to take us to Jealousy.
Jealousy was written by Mercury. It features May playing his Hall-Fred acoustic guitar, whose strings produce that buzzing effect of a sitar. The jealousy ultimately cost him his girl, and it's all he's left with.
It has nice instrumentation. Kind of reminds me of a throwback of some of their previous stuff. The piano's really good. The vocal's good. And I mean, the theme is pretty obvious. If you're too jealous, the girl leaves you and you're just left laying there in bed with your jealousy and nothing else. So for me, it was an all right track.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was a ballad, and I dig ballads.
Yeah, you dig ballads. That brings us to Bicycle Race. I already talked about it a little bit earlier. It was written by Mercury. He wrote it while they were recording in France. He went out and watched the Tour de France Bicycle Race and decided, I'm going to write a song about this because bicycle race is kind of a weird thing to write about. Later on, May said that Mercury wasn't even a bicycle rider, so there's probably some hidden meanings to this song. He hammers a bunch of stuff here. They're social, political, talks about cocaine, politicians, even talks about he's not a Star Wars fan, although May said he was.
Well, and some of the stuff that I read said that this was a metaphor for like his freedom and not being held down by what society wants him to be, but he's free to be his self when he's out like riding the bicycle.
Yeah, yeah, and for me, I like this song. I don't love it. I like Fat Bottom Girls a lot more, although this song's chorus sticks in your head. Very much so. I could not get it out of my head. What did you think of this thing?
I liked it. Again, like you, I liked Fat Bottom Girls better, but it's a solid track.
Next up is If You Can't Beat Them, written by Deacon. It's hard rocking. It's one of the few songs by Deacon where May plays all the guitars. It has a guitar solo of over 2 minutes long. I really enjoy this song. It's hard rocking. I'm not really sure what it's about. I think the second verse kind of gave me a little inclination. It could be about the greed of record companies, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one as well. I usually don't like the harder stuff as much, but this one I took exception to.
Oh yeah, man, it rocks out. That takes us to the last song on the A side, Let Me Entertain You, written by Mercury, a very famous song. He's basically just asking the audience all these questions to try to get them hyped up so he can entertain them.
Yeah, and to me, I almost had, and I have no idea why, but the feel of like a circus ringmaster talking to the audience. I don't know why I got that impression, but that's what it felt like to me.
Well, it's a famous song. I don't know that I'd ever heard it. It's not one of my favorites. I don't think it's a standout on here. I know you Queen fans probably love it, but for me, I actually like the previous song better than this one. Now we're going to kick off the B-side with Dead on Time. It was written by May. May's guitar and Taylor's drumming are just high tempo. On it, there is a thunderbolt at the very end that was recorded by May on his cassette recorder, and it was credited to God in the liner notes, which I thought was kind of funny. It also references Keep Yourself Alive, which was a track on Queen's debut album, and it's in the liner notes as well, all bolded. So I thought that was interesting. It's a hard rocker, Gina, so it would seem like this would be perfect to play at concerts to get everybody going, but
it was never played at a concert, and I can kind of understand why I didn't care for this one.
Next up is In Only 7 Days, written by Deacon, who also plays the electric and acoustic guitar. Very simple in the premise of the song. It's about 7 days. He's on vacation. He sees this girl. Eventually, he hooks up with the girl, and then he's got to go, and he's sad. Very chilled out vibe, and I really like this song.
I did too. This was one of the highlights of the album for me.
Yeah, and now we're going to get to a song that is absolutely not a highlight for me. Dreamer's Ball, written by May. It's his tribute to Elvis Presley, who had just died the year before. For me, Mercury sings the vocals on here, and I was pretty sure it was Freddie, but I had to go back and look because I absolutely hate the vocal performance on this song. This is the least favorite Queen song that I have heard on our journey together.
I didn't hate it. It was fine. He's referencing this woman that he broke up with, and they are broken up in real life, and he still dreams of her. And so that's where he gets together with her, is back in his dreams. And so it's kind of a haunting feel to it, kind of a sad little...
Yeah, it is sad. I can only be with you if I'm asleep, so I can't wait to dream again. So I understand that. That's how it'd be if you ever left me. So let's go to Fun It. It was written by Taylor. It's a disco type of vibe, which is
very funky. I enjoyed that.
Very funky, very different, very eclectic album. You have all kinds of different vocal and instrumentation on this album.
And one thing I thought was cool is it sounded like Another One Bites the Dust.
It very much did. A little part of it did.
The beginning of it.
We're going to get into that on the next album, The Game, because it's a foreshadowing to that. So for me, it was a pretty good track.
I liked it. Next up, we have Leaving Home Ain't Easy, written and sung by May. This is another ballad where May's voice was sped up for the bridge. The lover is leaving. At first, he seems to be at peace with it, but then he's not. He has second thoughts. One of the lyrics that I liked was, "There's a million things calling me back." And so I feel like he was okay with it. He had made peace with leaving, and then he starts recalling the relationship and the things that had gone on, and he's like, wait, maybe we should still be together.
Yeah, and a lot of us do that, in the emotion of the moment. It's like, whatever, see you later, whether it's a relationship, a job, whatever. But then when we have time to sit back and think about it, maybe not. So maybe cooler heads were prevailing, but it might have been too late. That brings us to Don't Stop Me Now, written by Mercury. Went to top 10 in the UK. It's one of Queen's most famous songs. May's only input it is a short guitar solo and the backing vocal. It's a simple song where Freddie's just feeling it, man. He is rocking out. He doesn't want anybody to bring him down. I can see how in concert Freddie worked this thing like crazy. It's a nice up-tempo thing and one of my favorites on here.
And actually, it's the Queen's second most played song on Spotify. So a lot of other people like it too, apparently.
Very good point. And that brings us to the album closer. More of that jazz will play on the album title. This was written and sung by Taylor. It's a lute-based, and Taylor plays most instruments and sings all vocals. He reaches some very high notes.
The outro also contains short clips from many songs on the album, including Dead on Me, Bicycle Race, Mustafa, If You Can't Beat Them, Fun It, and Fat Bottom Girls. And the bridge where that happens was the highlight of the song for me, because overall I just thought it was too slow. I didn't really enjoy it until that bridge, and then I thought that was a cool culmination of all of those songs.
You 100% echoed exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, the second part of it, the ending, that was the highlight. The rest of it was kind of strange. Very strange starting song in Mustafa and very strange ending song and more of that jazz for me. I thought they could have picked better things because it was so pivotal at this time in the vinyl world of what you started and finished with. And now we come to our favorite tracks. For me, it's If You Can't Beat Them, In Only 7 Days, Don't Stop Me Now, and my favorite, Fat Bottom Girls. What about you?
My favorites were all of those except for If You Can't Beat Them. The other three that you had were my top.
All right, so this is your 7th album to review for them. Only my 3rd. Our son Trey joined you for the other ones. Those links are down below if you want to check those out. What do you give this overall album?
I went back and forth on this one, and I ultimately settled on, I think I'm going to go an 8.5, which is what I gave News of the World. I toyed with 8.75, but I don't feel like that I liked it that much.
Well, I think one of the things that's hard is when you have 13 songs, sometimes that can bring down an album's overall grade because it's really hard to have 13 songs be either good or really good. So I'm right there with you. I'm going to give this an 8.5. So if you liked what you saw here, please hit that big red subscribe button. We are going to be back with the next offering from Queen, The Game. But until next time, we will see ya.